Hello and welcome to Removing Our Invisibility Cloaks. This is the awareness interview number 8, and this is where we talk about invisible illnesses and disabilities to learn a little bit more about them, but to also educate others. So today I am joined by a lovely lady.
Hello.
And would you like to introduce yourself, please?
I'm Lija. Hello.
Hello. And could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
So I'm 36. I live in Northumberland. I've got 2 teenage kids and a dog. I am obsessed with Disney, especially mermaids. And yeah, I'm just me.
Just a Disney fan with 2 kids and a dog.
Yes, definitely.
You've got to love Disney though. I think every girl loves Disney.
Yeah. You don't love Disney then?
So I'm guessing your favourite princess then is Ariel.
Yeah.
I know she's not really well, she's technically not a princess, but she's a Disney princess. So
It is, yes.
And we would all love to be a mermaid.
Oh, absolutely. No worries, nothing.
Experience the world in the sea.
Yes.
If only.
Yes, if only it's that life.
And what dog do you have?
I've got a Staffy.
I love Staffy.
He's
so loyal.
Yeah, he's called Smudge. He's just turned 13, so he's quite old. Yeah.
And I love his name.
Yeah.
It's cute name.
When he was born, he had like a smudge down his nose, and that was the only white bit. But now, obviously, he's like dead white.
Oh, that's such a cute name for him then.
Yeah, he's lush.
And I noticed on your, I don't know which wrist you're wearing it on, but you've got a band. So what does that represent?
This is from Purple Wings. So that is from Recover, Adapt and Overcome.
So that is an ostomy charity.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah. And they are an amazing charity who sponsor, well, they, I can't even get my words out now. They provide grants to people to just bring a little bit of joy into their lives after having ostomy surgery.
Yeah, they're amazing. And I got nominated for one of their Purple Wings Hug in a Box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, off someone called Kimberly, and she nominated me, and it was just such a lovely thing to receive. Like, their charity is just amazing. It really, really is.
That was during lockdown, wasn't it? That was their incentive.
Yeah, it just cheers you up, because when, like, especially when you're shielded and you see nobody, and that was so lovely to receive. So yeah, it's great.
That's amazing. What did you get in it?
So I got a pen, a book, this bracelet, a voucher, some information just on different stoma bags and stuff. But yeah, it's just so nice. Oh, and a key ring as well that says like never give up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I keep on watching them, and I keep on seeing them handed out to people and just seeing the joy in their face.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you support Purple Wings. Is there any other charities that you support?
Crohn's and colitis. But that's about it. Yeah.
So that links in with your illness then. So you support an ostomy charity and you support Crohn's and colitis.
Yeah.
So I know personally, but let's just not make assumptions. So do you want to discuss your illness that you have at the minute?
Yeah, so I've got quite a few, but I'll say all my ones and then I'll just focus on Crohn's, I think. So I've got Crohn's disease. I've got an ileostomy bag, which is permanent. I've got endometriosis. I have got bladder issues, only one kidney, and obviously post-traumatic stress disorder, and which leads to anxiety and depression as well.
So you are a brave warrior then.
I try.
You've got a smile on your face, so that's something.
Yeah.
So when did you have your ileostomy surgery?
I had it in 2006, so I was 22.
Wow, so you're quite young then.
Yeah, really young. Yeah.
And I know what it's called. So it's called a Barbie butt. That's not the medical term, but it's what we know it as. Have you got a Barbie butt now?
I do, yes, and mine called Norma the Stormer.
Norma the Stormer. Oh, I like that. I like that name.
Yeah.
So just for those that are watching that don't know what a Barbie butt is, it's when your anus is closed off because you now don't poo from that, so you don't need the use of it.
Yeah.
And do you get any of those spasms that feel like you need to empty your back passage like a lot of people do?
Not now, but when I first got my bag, I did. And I used to like sit on the toilet and push because I thought something must need to come out, when even though it couldn't because it was sewn up. But yeah, it's like phantom pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Strange feeling.
I bet it's hard to describe as well, isn't it? Because you know it's not there, but
yeah, it's really weird. Sometimes, even, I mean, I've had mine like so many years, but sometimes now if I get like trapped wind, I often feel like a little bubble, and it's like, does that need to come out of there, or where does it need to come out?
where's it going?
Where's it traveling to?
So just to explain what an ileostomy is then, so that is you've had your colon removed, I'm assuming?
So I've had all of my large bowel removed, and I've also had, during a lot more previous like surgeries, I've had 3/4 of my small bowel removed as well. Wow. So yeah, so I'm only left with like 10 centimeters of small bowel.
It's just crazy to know that we can still live like that, not having a lot of our bowels left.
Yeah.
I know you have small bowel syndrome, which I know we've discussed previously.
Yeah.
But to be able to live like that it's crazy.
Yeah, it is weird. It sometimes I think like I get quite a lot of blockages, and they say that that's because of that, because I've only got this tiny bit of bowel. So even though what you're eating might go straight through you because it doesn't have very far to go, sometimes it does get stuck. So that's quite hard to deal with as well. And then obviously you don't get the nutrients that you should be getting, and I need to sometimes
struggle a lot in the heat.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
And is your diet, are you able to eat a lot of foods, or is there a lot of foods that you're restricted on?
There's a lot of foods I can't have. I do try sometimes to push my luck and just think, oh, I'll just try it, and then I end up ill. So then I'm like, right, I'm not going to do that again.
Not worth the pain.
It's not, but you just sometimes want, like, especially fruit and vegetables are worse for Crohn's disease anyway, regardless, because of the fibre. But sometimes you just want that orange, or you just want that watermelon, and you can't have it.
You just suffer after it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
And with you having an ileostomy, so a stoma, I don't know if it's okay with you, but a lot of people can't eat sweet corn, mushrooms. Do you suffer with those types of foods?
Yep, I don't eat any of that. I don't eat onions. And a funny story, I'm not shy, so it doesn't affect me at all. A funny story was one time I ended up in hospital, which wasn't funny, but it was due to because I'd ate lettuce. So the lettuce was trapped. So I had to, like, a tiny bit came out, and you had to pull the lettuce out.
And it's so strange because it has like a reaction, like it's trying to pull it back in.
Yeah.
When you're trying to, I've had to do that with mine before. Mine was a bean sprout out of stir fry, so I never ate that again.
Oh, no. Yeah. It was a lettuce, I just kept pulling it, and I was like, is this ever going to end? I only ate a little bit. So. Yeah,
it's a bit, yeah, I think people will think it's gross listening to this, but you get used to.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like it's lettuce. It comes out like it's lettuce, not like a normal stool.
No.
Because we've got rid of the bowel, it just comes out like it did going in.
Yeah, it is literally lettuce.
Yeah. And we get used to poo.
Yeah.
I don't have a poo taboo. I'm happy talking about it, and you sound happy talking about it. So why not?
Yeah. Who is not an issue to me at all.
Do you get into a lot of messes with your stoma, or is it quite good with leaks?
No, I get in quite a lot of leaks and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, not very happy with it, and yeah.
Having to change the bed sheets.
Yeah, so I go in the shower while my husband changes the bed. So we've got quite a good routine going on, but it's still, that makes you fatigued as well. So it's horrible, but
it's nice that you've got that support though. So I bet your children are really understanding as well.
Amazing. I mean, my son, the reason I had to get my ileostomy was because I got Crohn's when I was 13. And it was diagnosed by, I had a tunnel of perianal abscesses. So I was in and out of hospital all through my school life. And then when I was pregnant with my son, I got really ill. My first pregnancy was absolutely fine. My second pregnancy, I was so ill. And when he came out, they said you've got two options. One is we can try and do more medical. You've been on every drug possible. Or we get rid of your bowel completely. And I was like, I don't know what to do. You get 22. I've got a brand new newborn, and I had a toddler. So we tried infliximab. I had my first one, brilliant, went absolutely fine. Went to have my second infusion and had anaphylactic shock. So I then got told there's no other option now. It is a stoma.
Wow. I bet that was a shock to your system, wasn't it?
Massively. And my son had to be born at 35 weeks and he was really ill. And that was because I wasn't giving him the nutrients and he was killing me. So they needed to get him out to help me and obviously to try and save him. So he was in special care for like 6 weeks.
It's
so
amazing you're both here then to tell your stories.
Yeah, definitely. And he now is 5'9", massive, huge.
I bet he's a lot as well.
Oh yes, he's like a horse. But yeah, it was horrible. And then I ended up with it. They said it might be temporary, it might be permanent. They won't know until they get in there. And when I came round, they said it's permanent. We had to take the whole of your large bowel. And would they be able to use it for medical science because it was one of the most diseased bowel that they'd seen. Yeah, so.
Wow, that's crazy. So it sounds like they caught it on time then, because that could have perforated at any time.
Yeah.
You are so lucky, and you're here now to live your life, which is amazing.
Yeah. I have had issues like from it. I've had hernias, 16 kidney stones due to Crohn's, and I've had my stoma move from left to right, then back to left, and I'm now waiting to get it moved back to right again. And that is because of blockages, adhesion, scar tissue. 2016, I had a twisted bowel, so it was 2 hours till death. So it was, you need that pulling out. So they untwisted it and then pulled my stoma through by accident, sewed me up, and then realised that they pulled my stoma through, so then had to open me back up, take me back down.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know how painful a twisted bowel is as well, because that's why I had to have my second surgery.
Horrendous.
You can't explain it.
You can't. You really can't. I was in and out of hospital I had that in July 2016. I was in and out of hospital for months beforehand, telling them there was something wrong. And every time they were like, no, like your bloods are fine. The scans are all showing that everything's okay. And then when it fully twisted and I got rushed in, they said afterwards what they think had happened was it was partially twisting. By the time I'd get a scan, it had flipped back. So then they'd see nothing.
Okay.
So they said, you obviously were getting some signs, but every time they were scanning me, it had flipped back. So then it was just too late where it had fully flipped.
But you had your life saved, which is amazing. I think that's a really important key, like you're saying, is to listen to yourself, because you know your body.
Oh yeah.
You know when something's wrong.
Yeah, I'm very much where I don't like to go into hospital because I've spent so long in hospital. I'll wait until lastminute.com. But during that time, I knew something wasn't right and I didn't want to risk leaving it. I think if I had risked leaving it, I don't know, I wouldn't be here today. So it is so important to listen to your body. If you've got pain, please don't feel a burden, because you must go and seek help.
Definitely.
It's just not worth the risk of your life because you were too stubborn.
Too afraid to go in, yeah. And a lot of people with Crohn's, so before they even get diagnosed, they're afraid to even go to their doctors to talk about their bowel issues, because it's a taboo. So children find it funny. Adults are, I suppose, are a bit scared to talk about it because they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
But we really shouldn't be. Like you was at the risk of death on many occasions.
Yeah.
You were diagnosed at 13, you said, weren't you?
13, and I was sat and I was getting pain in my bum, and I was like, well, exactly the same as like what you're saying. I was 13. I was like, I'm not telling anyone I've got pain in my bum. like what people say, if you sit on them cold walls, you'll get piles. I was like, I've been sitting on walls. I wonder if I've got piles. And all of this goes through your head and you get so embarrassed. And especially when I was 13, Crohn's wasn't really a massive, now it's talked about quite a lot, which is brilliant. When I was 13, it wasn't known at all, really. And I then just said to my mum, I've got this really bad pain in my bum. And she was like, right, well, we'll see how you go. See how I go. 25 minutes later, I was blue lighted into hospital because it went down that quickly that I was sweating, I was freezing, so they got me straight into hospital. And 2 o'clock in the morning, I was down at surgery because it was that bad. It was just.
That's just crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy how 1 minute you can be fine and the next.
Yeah. And that, like, they were saying, because I was 13 and we've got like a 3-tier school here, so you've got like first school, middle school, high school, and I was going between, it was the summer holidays between middle school and high school, and they were asking like, are you under any stress? And I was like, I'm 13, no, I've got no stress, like I'm not worried about anything. And they said they think it was because of the transitioning between the two schools, that something in my body had flared and that had released these abscesses, and caused the diagnosis of Crohn's, because they do say sometimes it's stress related.
Yeah.
And I know even now when I get stressed, my Crohn's does flare.
Yeah, I know mine was stress because my mum had lymphoma at the start of the year, and then that's when I started to go downhill.
It's awful. It's weird. And you just think, how can stress cause something like this lifelong disease that you've got to live with? Crazy.
It's hard because they don't actually know the cause of it either. So although we know stress is a trigger, we don't actually know what causes it. So to treat it, there is treatments out there which are amazing. Like you've gone through all of them basically.
Yeah.
You had infliximab, but unfortunately the infliximab didn't like you by the sounds of it. But it's amazing that we've got all these different treatments out there because so many people do find remission. So I think that's important as well because your story is very rare. I'm quite sure to find someone similar to me because I got diagnosed and then literally needed emergency surgery just after.
Oh, wow.
But it's rare, so I try and tell people that because I don't want to scare them.
Yeah.
But it does happen, so it's important to listen to your body.
Yeah, it does happen. And I know a lot of people who have got Crohn's and live with Crohn's and have never had surgery. Mine from day one was surgery. And like I always compare myself to Pringles. Once they've popped, they just don't stop because they don't. Like I've been cut and cut and cut and cut. But that is purely because my Crohn's was so severe that they just needed to get me to a stage where the majority of the diseased bowel and small bowel was gone.
It's nice to know that you've now got a life out of it. So I know it's not the same as what it would have been, but you're still able to live your life. You've got 2 children, you're married, you've got that support network, and that's amazing to know that you can come out from all of that and still achieve all of that.
Yeah.
With a smile on your face.
Yes, you have to. You really do. I mean, I've had times where I've sat and cried, and I went through a suicidal time where I just didn't want to be here. I was self-harming. And my mental health went severely downhill, and that was all. I didn't want to live with a bag anymore. I didn't like my bag. I went through a period of not liking it, and why me? Why does this all have to happen to me? And then I got counselling, I got help, and I came out of it. And I thought, do you know why me? Because they've picked the strong people to deal with diseases like this.
You really are strong to get through that and to accept it as well. And such a young age.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I know so many people that struggle with acceptance.
Yeah.
I struggled for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realise as well. These physical health conditions are also mentally challenging.
Yeah.
So you've been impacted mentally and so many other people as well. So I'm glad that you've came out the other side.
Yeah. I'm pleased as well.
And Crohn's as well. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Go on.
Crohn's as well. So not many people know that it's not just your bowels.
No.
So it affects your poo, everything like that. But like you mentioned, it's affected other things on your body because it's autoimmune and it does Crohn's destroys all of your body basically.
Yeah, the whole digestive system. I've had like my bone joints are horrendous. I've had broken bones after broken bones because I just don't have the strength in my bones because Crohn's takes a lot of your goodness away from you. There's so many things linked. But what I do find is if I go into hospital, when I first got diagnosed with endometriosis, I went in and I was telling them, oh, it's your Crohn's, that's all you get. As soon as you go in, it's your Crohn's. And I was saying, it's not my Crohn's. I know there's different pains. So it's very important, I think, to tell your doctor exactly what you think it is and that you know your body. You're the only one who knows your body. And if you think that it's not to do with your disease, then you need to tell them, because nobody listened to me until I was 17 and I got one of the scans and they said the whole of my right ovary was just cysts all over it.
Wow.
Yeah, and I kept telling them and they just didn't listen, which is a shame, because as soon as you've got a label of a disease, everything that's wrong with you is that.
Yeah. And you know how to treat it too. So
yeah,
endometriosis, there's not that many treatments for it, but you know what to watch as well. So if you're getting more pain, you know that it could be spreading in more areas.
Yeah.
And did that prevent you from getting pregnant? Did that stop you from getting pregnant at any point?
Well, so they told me at 17 I'd never have kids. And I was heartbroken. But I was determined to prove them wrong. Obviously, I've got 2 kids now. Amazing.
Amazing. That is a miracle.
Yeah, but I think if I'd not listened to myself, if I'd just carried on and gone, okay, maybe it is my Crohn's, if I hadn't have pushed, who knows what state both ovaries would have been in. Yeah. I mean, now that they are quite severe, that I'll never have any more children. I got told after my son that I'd never have any more, and I haven't had any more. But yeah, I just think you need to listen to your body. You know your best. You know.
Completely agree. And I think a lot of the time they think we're hypochondriacs, but we're not.
No.
I hate, like I hate going into hospital. I literally go in when I have to.
Yeah.
The same with the doctors.
Yeah.
But you have to put your foot down because we're not hypochondriacs. We know what's happening with our body.
Yeah.
And just to get answers really does help.
Yeah.
So endometriosis, and you've got, did that cause any issues during pregnancy?
No, I was fine with both pregnancies through my endometriosis. It's afterwards, since I've had my stoma, I've had more issues that way. I begged them at 22 when they were taking my bowel to take my whole of my everything, give me a full hysterectomy. They told me I was too young. I then begged them again at 33 and told them, please just take it, because I was getting more and more symptoms endometriosis wise than I was anything else. No, I was still too young, and I'm now at a stage where they have turned around and said they should have done it at 22, because I've been open so many times now, everything's stuck. Yeah, so it's more of a risk now. Hopefully when I get my stoma moved again, I always get cut open, you can't do a keyhole, so I'm hoping they have said that they're going to try and get a gynae in as well and do the whole lot, take it all.
That will be better to do it all in one, because it is the stoma surgery is a big operation, and a hysterectomy is a big operation too.
Yeah,
that's crazy to think that you've been through so much you're so young as well. Like, you are so young still. Yeah.
At one time when I was having all my kidney issues, I had both kidneys, both kidneys were working fine, and then I got loads of kidney stones, one after another, which is also linked to Crohn's, they said, because of the calcium buildup. And when they were putting a stent in my kidney, they damaged my bladder, so I came out of my kidney surgery to be told I would have to self-catheterize for the rest of my life. And I was thinking, I'm living with a bag, I can't live with a tube as well. I just, in my head, I was like, I can't do it. I just can't. I did do it for 3.5 years, and then I tried to train my bladder back to a state where it could try and empty fully itself. And it does still play up. I literally need the toilet all the time. I've gone from Crohn's needing the toilet to now bladder needing the toilet. But I managed that really well. I'm pleased that I didn't have to self-catheterize the rest of my life, because I didn't want to.
It's amazing you're giving yourself these challenges, though, because you're proving them wrong every single time you're setting these challenges.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 children when you was told that you couldn't have children.
Yeah.
You don't have to self-catheterize.
Yeah.
Honestly, you are so inspiring.
Thank you. I try. I just think that a lot of people, and everyone is so different. A lot of people get told, you'll never do this, so that's all they believe. But I'm a one to go, do you know what? I'm not going to believe that. Until I physically can't do it, then so be it. It's like work. I got told, you'll never, ever, ever work full time. And yes, I have had to hold my hand up, and I physically can't work full time. My body just will not let me. And that's one thing I've just learned to accept. But other stuff, I'm like, no, I'm going to try and train my bladder.
As long as you've tried, you know that you've done your personal best in that scenario.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what other conditions do you have? So I know you mentioned your kidney stones because of the Crohn's.
Yeah.
Endometriosis.
So my bladder, there's not really a diagnosis for that. It's just I get like bladder spasms. I get where sometimes accidents happen because I just can't control my bladder. I can't squeeze it enough. And that's embarrassing as well. Like I think bladder and bowel are both two embarrassing illnesses for some people. Some people deal with it great. I found my bladder more embarrassing than my bowel.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is difficult because I don't know, you think you relate it to elderly people, like having those accidents?
Yeah. I think so. Sometimes I think, like, I can't even go on a long car journey, like a car journey for 40 minutes, and I'm sat and I'm desperate, and I'm thinking, I'm looking in every bush, where can I pull over? And I used to be like that with my Crohn's, and I just used to hike my bum and use a leaf, do you know what I mean? But I think, like, now I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mother, I can't just pull over on the side of the road and have a wee on the side of the road. So then I'm like, oh, do I have to wear a nappy? It's awful. It's more embarrassing that than anything in my life, is that.
You sound strong to come through it, though, and you still obviously enjoy your life, because it sounds like you go on journeys, but do you plan potentially where the toilet stops are?
Yeah. And if I'm going out, I need to go to the toilet about 10 times, and I can't drink a lot before I go. And then if I'm out for a long time, I'm thinking I can't have a drink because if there's no toilet, and then your stomach starts retracting because it's dehydrated, and it's like a massive circle. But I don't know. You do have to. I do laugh about it. I'm like, oh, I need the toilet again. Oh,
just again, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
I could understand why that can be debilitating on you, though, just to be so young and have all those issues. I think if you just had the one, then maybe, but you've got them all combined.
Yeah.
Is that because of your stent causing the damage, or?
Yeah. And I think maybe if I did have a leg bag catheter, and then I said I really wasn't comfortable with having this bag of wee attached to my leg, and I feel my heart goes out to anyone who has to live with that. They're all amazing who deal with it. I can deal with my stoma bag, poo, nothing, fine, whatever, but I just couldn't deal with that, and I'll hold my hands up. I couldn't. So then they taught me to self-catheterize, and I just, like I said, train my bladder, but I don't think it's not fully back to normal.
Yeah.
And I do still see a bladder doctor, but there's no answers. It's just medication after medication. just to try and see which one works best.
You sound so brave though, and to go through all that, honestly, you are inspiring to have all that positivity and just to keep on defining the odds.
Yeah, thank you.
So I know it's hard for you to accept, so but you've got the support of your family. Other people in the public eye, have you ever received discrimination from them?
Horrendous, like awful. At school was awful. My school life was the worst. I used to get called holy arse. I used to get why I was given a special key for the toilets. I couldn't use the girls' toilets because they weren't clean enough. So I got a special key. Oh, your teacher's pet, you're this, you're that. I started year 9, then I was only in 2 weeks and I was out in hospital for months. So when I came back, all my friends had made new friends who then had their own groups, and I was like a loner, and that was hard because then you're bullied for having no friends. It was awful. And I've got a blue badge because I suffer mobility problems and joint pain. And if I pull up in a blue space and someone sees someone so young getting out, I've been shouted at. I've been told I don't deserve that space. Even though I've got my blue badge, you shouldn't be allowed that. One man in a car park pulled me aside and said that I'm a disgrace to the public eye, and to humanity. I am taking up a space that an elderly person needs more than me. Sometimes I feel like going, do you want to see what I'm dealing with? Do you want just pull my top up and go, this is me? But
Yeah.
why do I have to? Why?
Well, you shouldn't have to.
And then disabled toilets, you come out of disabled toilet, you get tutted at. One lady put her arm out and stopped me and asked me how dare I use that disabled toilet when she needed it. Well, I needed it because my bag had burst all over. So things like that, horrible.
It's horrible as well when you get people with visible disabilities judge you because you think that they should understand more, but they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't at all, and sometimes they think that they've got more rights than you. Because I've been in that situation, using a disabled toilet, came out to a disabled woman and she had to go at me because she needed it. And then there was a whole debate that she had more right than me.
Yeah.
But we all have the same rights
Of course we do.
Use those facilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I try, if my bag is behaved or if I just need to go for a wee, I don't use a disabled toilet. I don't just use it willy-nilly. I do use it when I actually really need to use it. And the same as parking. If I'm having a really good day, I won't use a disabled space, even though I'm fully entitled to. I won't. I'll use a normal space. But sometimes I just think, why should I have to deal with this just because I'm young and just because you can't see what's the matter with someone? And that's why your page is absolutely amazing, because you're trying to bring out the visible and the invisible.
Thank you.
It is great.
It's just not fair for anyone to have that discrimination.
It's not.
I understand there's people that do take the mickey, that don't have an entitlement to use the disabled toilets or to use their facilities, but they can't just judge everyone on that minority, because everyone isn't in that situation.
Yeah, I had to use, before I got my bag once, I had to use my can't wait card, which I'd got off like the knack, and I showed it in a bank because I was about to poo my pants, and the bank said, we can't let you use our toilet. And I said, I'm begging you, I'm either gonna poo in the middle of your floor and you're gonna have to deal with cleaning poo up off your carpet, or I need to use the toilet. So someone had to escort me to the toilet and stand outside the door, and I had to leave the door ajar because it was a bank. And I thought, what do you think? So I'm sat on the toilet making horrendous noises and thinking, well, here's the proof that I did actually need the toilet.
Yeah.
But
that's bad that they did that.
Yeah, that was very embarrassing. And then I thought, I don't want to ever use my can't wait card again, when I should have been able to, but it put me off using it.
Do you get put off going out as well because of these issues?
Yeah. Not so much now, because I'm at a stage now where I'm like, do you know what? Like, I am allowed this space. I am allowed to use this toilet, and I'm here and I'm me, and you can just go about your day because I can't be bothered to listen to you. But when my anxiety was at my worst, I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't, because people judged you, and I didn't want that. I couldn't deal with that. I could barely deal with living and breathing, never mind someone judging you. So yeah, it did stop me.
Well, I'm glad that you go out now and you prove them all wrong, because you do have that entitlement.
Yeah, definitely.
So despite you living with these issues, what other positives have you achieved? So you've achieved having 2 beautiful children.
Yes.
You've achieved being able to not self-catheterize for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
What else have you achieved?
I have achieved proving doctors wrong quite often, which I always said I was going to, and they were like, no, but I did. I proved them wrong. I think I've achieved my best friend, who's been best friends, we've been best friends since nursery. She got a stoma a couple of years ago, and it's crazy the journey that we've both been on together. And I hope, she always says I did keep her spirits high, and we've got each other to talk to.
Yeah, you've got someone that understands you and what you've been through.
Yeah, so to help other people, I feel I've achieved. I've got a page on Facebook that I write my own little blog, and I have helped a few people with that. So that as well is great that I can do that, because no question is a silly question for me. Ask me anything, nothing scares me, nothing phases me, nothing. If I can help, I will. If I can't, I'll try and find someone who can. So yeah, I think I just
it's amazing knowing you're helping others, because some people still stay in their little cocoon, afraid to go out and experience the world, because it is hard to deal with.
Yeah,
I think anyone who says it's easy is lying, because it really isn't. Even if it's just you trying to come to terms with it, some people do get over it quicker. But it is a mental challenge. So you've done amazing, and now you're helping others, which is a big achievement.
Yeah, I try. But like I said, if I can help people, I will.
And you're working as well, aren't you? I know it's not full time, but you're working. So
I used to work in all my life since leaving school. I've always worked with additional needs children, and they're my absolute world. I just love them. Unfortunately, I had to get medically dismissed from that job after my twisted bowel surgery. Then I had another surgery, then another surgery, and I couldn't do my job well. It wasn't fair on the kids, wasn't fair on the workplace either. So I got medically dismissed from that. I then had to take a 1.5-year break to give my body the rest. I got told I would never ever work with additional needs again, because I just physically couldn't. So I went and I was a waitress in a cafe for a year, then got furloughed during lockdown, and through lockdown I have now got myself a job as a support worker for additional needs. So I'm back to where people said I'd never get back in that job. I'm back in that job.
You're back, defeating the odds again, and in a job that you will love and enjoy.
Absolutely, I can't wait. I haven't started yet, but I just can't wait. I'm so excited to start that job, because it's back doing exactly what I love doing.
Is it adults with learning difficulties, or is it children?
So they've left school. So some are in their teens, some are in their adulthood. So yeah, it's great.
My mum does that job too. She loves it.
Absolutely
loves it.
And that's
she used to be yeah, it does. She used to be a care worker for the elderly, but she says this is a lot more rewarding.
Yeah, it is.
So you've achieved so much, honestly. And you've been through so much, like your journey. I always say to people, everyone's personal IBD journey is so different. Yeah, it really is.
But it's nice to know that some bits, like, that's only a short part of my journey. Like, there's so much more, which I haven't got time, but it's so nice to know that there's other people out there who maybe something out of my journey, they go, that's what I'm dealing with, and I didn't want to say. And so I'm hoping, like, and especially for you doing these interviews, I do hope that all your interviews, some people out there might look at them and go, I'm going to go and seek help, because I think that's the best thing ever, is just making awareness of different things, and that some people's journeys, they're so different but so similar.
Yeah. Like you at the beginning saying when you were 13, you only had pain, whereas mine was blood. So that made it really obvious that something was going on. But just having pain must have been really confusing.
Yeah, anything. Like I said, piles, I was like, oh, it's this, it's that. I mean, I know a lot of people, when they first get diagnosed with Crohn's, there's pains in your stomach. So then you think, oh, I've just got cramps. You don't know what is going on. And often you go to the doctors and they're like, oh, it's just this, or it's IBS, and it's not IBS. IBS and IBD are two completely different things. And when people compare, oh, I know what you're going through because I've got IBS. No, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah, I originally had IBS, so I had IBS from a very young age. That's why I knew my symptoms were completely different, because I had chronic constipation with my IBS. Then it suddenly just all flipped, and it was accidents constantly. Yeah. So to get people comparing it really isn't a comparison. They're all completely different. They are both painful, I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely.
But they are completely different medical conditions.
Yeah, and they are, like IBS, it will be awful as well to live with that, like horrendous. And I feel for them who do have to live with that. And it is food related as well, just like Crohn's and colitis. There is very similar traits, but they're just not the same.
Yeah, they're very similar in like symptoms and so on. So my husband, he's got IBS, but he's got the opposite of what I had. So he's constantly going, if he has pizza, then he knows he's going to be bad the next day.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of it's related to the food that they eat, whereas Crohn's and colitis, we can't manage that with food.
No, we can't. No, definitely.
So there is similarities, but there is differences.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's been really nice speaking to you. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to the interview?
No, I just think anyone who, like I said, anyone suffering or anything, please go and see your doctor or speak to someone, because you don't want to leave it too late.
I think it's good to also announce like Purple Wings and Crohn's and Colitis UK. There are so many support groups on Facebook that you can just ask a question on. Yeah,
and I'm on one called Jessica's Stoma Journey, and that's amazing. She also has another page linked to her page that is for people with stomas or who've got kids with stomas, and just little groups like that are just so helpful, I find.
It makes you feel not alone as well, that you've got that support network.
Yeah, and just all these new awareness videos that are coming out of people showing their bags off, and it's just great. It's so positive. It's brilliant. It really is good. It's fab. But I always say,
be nice and smiley with these conditions.
Yes, but I always say Crohn's may have took my guts, but it didn't take me.
I like that positive attitude.
Yeah, definitely.
And he definitely didn't take you, because you fought the odds on everything.
And I will still keep going.
You are a true fighter.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. You are an inspiration. Do not forget that.
Thank you.
It was lovely speaking to you.
Yes, and you.
Bye.